Alright, hi, thanks for checking out this video. Today we're going to do a review on Digital Performer 10. This is Digital Performer 10 on version 10.11. I think this is the most up-to-date version of DP that's out there. Right now it's February of 2020. Right now we're in my cover band High Five Swan Dives project file, and this is the one that we use for live. So probably the best thing to cover first with Digital Performer is this idea of chunks, which is over here on the right now. Now there's three different types of chunk files. You've got a sequence, a VRAC, and then a song. So a sequence is basically the song itself. So right now, the sequence I have pulled up is for Can't Feel My Face, and this is everything that we have in our timeline for this song, and it's contained in that single sequence. Then you have song files. Now, normally the idea here would be like you would use this for like an arranging trick. So for your sequences, maybe you'd call that verse, chorus, bridge, verse 2, whatever it might be. And then in the song, you could then grab those chunks and move them all around to rearrange your song. The great thing about chunks is it's basically projects inside projects. So if you're, let's say, mastering, you can have your couple songs over here and then use what's called a VRAC. So I'll pop over to my mixer board and pull up my VRAC. So a VRAC is a set of tracks that all of these different sequences use to share, basically. In other words, I don't have to create individual instances of DMXs over and over and over again in order to have the lighting information from all of these go to, DMXs. You can set it up with just one instance, and then all of these will know that this VRAC or this common source is where they're all headed. Same thing, I have a reverb send. Sometimes I like to put a little reverb on our extra tracks that we happen to be adding in a song. And in this case, we used to run Reason through Digital Performer in Rewire. So this was the Reason track that would then pipe it through Digital Performer. We ended up switching now and we run two laptops, but doesn't matter. So VRACs are super cool. That's the other sort of chunk. So it's one set of whatever you want it to be that each one of these sequences and then also the song files will then go to and use. So this could be synthesizers as well. There's so much flexibility here. So when you start using any DAW, really the first thing is just to start to get an idea for the different ways that you can arrange the windows that you're looking at. And that's one of the things I do really like about Digital Performer. Right now I have all of those sidebars closed out. And the cool thing is you can just come over and grab it and then just drag over and it's going to open up an extra window. You can do it on the one side, the other side, and you can also do it on the bottom. So there's quite a lot of flexibility here. It just depends on however you want to be looking at the information. For me, most of the time, I like to use just the two side windows. And just depends on what the project is that I'm working on. So just getting to know these different windows that you can open can really help you with your workflow. You can have anything from a single channel strip to showing the background processing, which I like to do, just, kind of keep it small down at the bottom in case your computer happens to be thinking about something so you can, stay on top of that. You can also open up windows from the bottom and you can have as many of them as you possibly want or will fit. So Digital Performer has its own set of native plugins. So if I go to my plugins, the ones that come with, just DP sort of stock really will handle anything that you need just to get you started. Now, they don't all sound the best, and obviously there's other companies you can go to check out, but just to get you started, usually for this, the only third-party plugin that I use for us live just is that DMXs plugin. Everything else that I use is just native plugins. So if you just need a quick EQ, Masterworks EQ works great. If you need a limiter or whatever, everything that you need to at least get started is included with Digital Performer. It also comes with a few synthesizers, which is pretty cool. Comes with Bassline, Model 12, Modulo, MX4, Nano Sampler, Polysynth, and Proton. So there's a whole lot that's included there, which is awesome. For me, I use Reason for all of my synthesizer sounds, so I don't actually use any of the Digital Performer ones, but they are very cool and they do a whole lot. There's a whole lot of flexibility. Again, just to get you started is fantastic. And all of your basic track needs is here. You've MIDI tracks, mono audio tracks, stereo audio tracks, surround tracks, aux tracks, master fader, and they recently added VCA. Just a couple other things with Digital Performer, the way that they have things set up is that you can have a lot of customization for how your cursor moves through your project file, both when you're setting up a loop, which you do just like that, or if you want your cursor to just automatically rewind, you can do that as well. So there's a whole lot of flexibility here. It's not just like a simple loop or not. It's really cool. Another thing is there's a thing called audible mode. So if I click and hold, this track will then play. And you can toggle that on and off with this button right here. You also have a metronome section, which you can set to go through any bus or output that you've set up ahead of time in your bundles, which is really cool. That also comes with a whole bunch of different possible click sounds, and you can quickly mix those so that your stressed or accented beat is louder than your normal one. So there's a lot of flexibility here that is really cool. And you can turn the metronome on and off right here. This is your button to solo tracks, to turn them on and off. And then this is the control to have it automatically scroll or follow the cursor. I find that this feature is really cool to have right there where you can easily access it, because sometimes I want to just click it on, and if the cursor's been playing in another part of the song, let's say it's like all the way over here, and I've been looking at this part, and I want it to just hop up and catch up to where it's at, you can just click that and it'll do it while it's playing. It's great. Now, Digital Performer also comes with the ability to control the pitch. Now, you have two different settings. You've got what they call absolute, which shows you basically the pitch of each note that's being played so that you can then, let's say if it's vocals, you can pitch correct it right here in Digital Performer. There's also a way to do relative pitch. So this is really useful, especially for us live. If we get together and we're rehearsing a new song and our singer decides, really like to move this song down a half step or up a half step, you can grab you can grab whatever track you need to do. So let's say I needed to then pitch change both the bass and this little keyboard part. I can just grab the pitch, grab the relative, and then just pull it down a half step, push it up a half step. Just like that, you can transpose. And just to give you an idea, I'll pull up a track and I'll show you what it sounds like. So it's that easy to control the pitch of a track if you need to transpose it, which I think is great. Like I said, if you want to get in and tinker more with the exact pitches that you're hearing, you can also pull that up and check those out, which is awesome. One of my favorite things about Digital Performer is a thing called bundles. So for bundles, this is all of your inputs and your outputs. So the great thing about this is if you have a bigger interface, so normally I'm using an interface that has 8 outputs, what you can do is you can, in Digital Performer, there'll be like a larger grid with all of those outputs, and then you can set each one of your outputs quickly in this matrix just by clicking around and changing where they go. You also have buses for aux tracks, so this is my send to that reverb that I have set up. And you also have potential instruments. So instruments are where you would put those synthesizers, or in this case, where DMXis is. You also have a matrix for your inputs. So right now I'm on the new MOTU M2 interface. Only has 2 inputs, but again, if you had a larger one, like at our rehearsal studio, I have 16 ins on Focusrite, and you can change the names real quick by double clicking, so you can label kick, snare, toms, whatever it is. If you're tracking drums or a lot of things, it's really easy to quickly get things set up and see it from a bird's eye view, all of your inputs and your outputs. I really like the way this is set up. I feel like it's very intuitive. And the shortcut key to get here is Shift U. Digital Performer is all about shortcut keys. The more you can get your head around them, really, or any DAW, the quicker it's going to help you move around through things. So when I'm going to program a night, what I do is I go to a song file. So here we are, we're in this song file, and this is the way I make a set. So what I do is I grab each one of these individual chunks and then just drag them in real quick. And then this way you can see exactly how long the set is. So it's timed out. Usually sets are 50 minutes, and I know now it's going to stop at 50 minutes and 19 seconds, which is great. Then the next step is after I've got that all down, I grab all of them, and then I copy the conductor tracks over. What that means is it's copying all of the timing information and meter changes. So tempo and meter changes get copied over. And then all I do is hit merge markers. Usually it takes a second. Now it's taken all of my markers that are in each one of those individual sequence files, and it's merged them together so that when I pull up that same set number 1, now I can see where all the marker files are, and now I can hop around inside the set and trigger it. Now that's useful if you fall off the click or something goes wrong. One last thing that I'm going to talk about today is just the meter bridge section. This is another thing that I really like. Real quick, you can hit on meter bridge and you can see all of your different input, output, bundles, buses, everything with a bird's eye view just by clicking around. I find this to be extremely useful, especially if you're trying to troubleshoot at a gig, just trying to make sure that your outputs are all working. You can pull this up real quick and see the actual levels, and I found this very useful in the past. Obviously, Digital Performer can do way more than what I covered today. Just wanted to give you a brief overview and talk about the ways that I use it and the reason why I like it so much. There are other programs or DAWs that you could use for live, obviously. Ableton Live is one that pops into mind. But for me, I like to stick with what I already knew. I produced a couple albums and some music in Digital Performer, and when we made the change to going bass playerless, it made sense to just get started with what I know, and Digital Performer has served us pretty well throughout all these years. We've played around probably about 400 gigs using Digital Performer as our main brains, just kind of running through a laptop, controlling our lighting, sending those cues, playing the tracks that are all set up ahead of time, and it's been, for the most part, very reliable. As with anything with technology, sometimes it goes wrong, sometimes it's the DAW's fault, sometimes it's just some hardware, sometimes it's the laptop itself. That's what using, computers live can be a little scary, but all in all, I'd have to say I've been very happy with it, especially running a project file of this size. This isn't even our most up-to-date one. We have about double the songs that are in here now, so you can kind of get an idea exactly what you can do with this, production-wise. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit like and subscribe. It helps our channel continue to grow and do all that YouTube stuff. Thank you for watching. Take it easy.